Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 4. So Module 4 is the first module for our next major writing assignment, which is going to be our first essay. It's called a process essay or a process explanation essay. And so I'm just going to go over the assignments. Some of them will feel familiar to you because you've done something similar in the past. So just like our previous major writing assignment, we had kind of a brainstorm module where we learned a little bit about that writing style. And then we had the next module where we actually wrote the piece. So in the case of the process essay, we're doing the same thing. So here we have module 4, learning about process writing. You've got some readings to do. You'll learn about some second person as well, and then some more about moving from paragraphs to essays. So there's going to be quite a bit of reading in this module just because we're trying to transition between writing at the paragraph level to writing at the essay level, which some of you might be familiar with and some of you may need a lot of review of some of those ideas. The other thing we're doing, because Module 4 is the halfway point of the semester, so we're halfway through the summer semester, and so we're at 4 of 8 weeks. We also have a mid-semester reflection that you're going to complete. So I'll talk a little bit about process writing. So the information here is just kind of over what does it mean to write as a process, what does it mean to write as a process explanation, and then there's a video for you to help you out a little bit. And then you also have some information on second person pronouns. This just kind of review. A lot of people are already familiar with pronouns, but they often get the terminology wrong. So second person is the yous. First person is I. So first person is talking about yourself. When you use you in a sentence, though, you're referring to whoever's reading that sentence. So a lot of times when we're speaking, we say you, and we just kind of mean an audience in front of us or whoever's in front of us. But when we write, we can't necessarily know exactly who's going to be reading that writing. And so when we write in second person, it doesn't always translate very well. And the process essay tends to be the one where students excessively use second person to the point where it gets really distracting. And so that's why we're learning about it now, because I want you to avoid it for your essay. What we're going to do with it, instead of actually taking a general grammar quiz like we've been doing, I have a video quiz for you. The video quiz has 5 true and false questions, and you'll answer them as you watch the video. So this is a really interesting, different tool in Canvas, which some students like and some students don't. But one of the things that you need to know about this is as you go through, so you get started and then you'll see the questions pop up as you go through, and they should be fairly self-explanatory. You have to have the video has to play all the way through to the end before you can submit the quiz. So make sure that you get to the end and you actually hit submit, otherwise your quiz results won't show up. It does say, it will tell you that it's only worth 5 points. It's actually worth 10 points, and so it will show up as 10 points in the grading book, rubric, grading center, whatever we call it. This section here is more about writing an essay and kind of moving from that paragraph level to the whole essay. And so I would definitely give yourself a little bit of time to go over chapter 14, just kind of skim through it, look for some ideas, especially those of you who feel like you have less experience with writing. You'll want that paragraph or that chapter will be really helpful for you. Then we have the process essay instructions. So the process essay is an explanation of a process that you have completed. What's really important to remember is that a process is a series of steps. So something that has to be completed in the same order each time in order to have the correct outcome. And so some students have a difficulty identifying a process. Like football is not a process. Football is an activity that you complete. However, a football warm-up might be a process if you do the same steps every time. So like right now I'm coaching my little son's t-ball team. And so we typically go through the same activities during our practice sessions that we do each time. So I could do that as a process if I wanted to. A lot of students choose something that's kind of a care or maintenance thing. I get a lot of oil changes and tire changes because those pretty much have to be completed in the same order each time. I have other students who do processes that they complete at work. So if it's, if they're a nurse, they might have something that is like a process that insert an IV. I had someone do tracheotomies one time. That was a really interesting process. Or it might be an application type process. Especially with something you've done recently that can help you out. This does need to be a process that you have completed though. So it's not a process that you don't know anything about, that you haven't done yet, that you have to research. So it needs to be something that you either are currently completing or have completed, even especially if it's more than once. So the essay itself is just going to go through the explanation of the process and what you did and some tips that you have for people as they complete it. So we're not writing that essay yet though, because right now we're going to be focusing on the brainstorm and writing plan. So just like we did for the previous assignments or illustration paragraph, we brainstormed, came up with a writing plan. You're doing the same thing here, but there's one more part. Because this is an essay, you'll have a thesis statement. And the thesis statement works similarly to a topic sentence, except that it's for an entire essay. So I have these template sentences below that you can choose from, and you can pick one if you want, or you can come up with your own, but these are kind of helpful for students. You only need one. And then the other two parts should be familiar with. And then I've created an example for you so you can see what it looks like. The example that I'm using is applying for a passport. Since that's something I'm currently doing, or another passport in this case, I've got that as my example. Grammar review will be verb agreement and take that quiz, and then the last thing that you'll do in the unit is to write your midpoint reflection. So we're at mid-semester, and you're just going to answer the questions. For the mid-semester reflection, some students choose to write it out as a paragraph kind of essay form, and then some students just answer the questions. As long as you're writing in complete sentences, I don't care which one. If you want to number them, that's fine. But make sure that you are answering in complete sentences, complete thoughts, that kind of thing, not single word answers, and giving me some, feedback on how you're doing this semester, and particularly if there's anything I can do to help you out a little bit more in the class, since we're halfway through. So there you have that option. And then I also have a midpoint survey that you can complete if you want to. This one is optional. The other one is not. That's worth points. This one is not worth any points, but if you do complete it, I can see who completed it and I will give you 5 points extra credit. So it's anonymous, but you can get extra credit. So if you have any questions at all, make sure you send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.